Craftsman, you've been in so foodie land, baby. Come on back. Come on back to us, Craftsman. And let's do some injection molding. And let's also look at some DIY molding techniques. In addition to some inspiring results from some other wonderful toy makers. Plus some other exciting news. Why do I focus on things like injection molding? Because the concept of taking something you've brainstormed, designed, and turning that into multiple copies has fascinated me since childhood, especially when we're talking about multiple copies of toys. If you'd have told me I'd have been injection molding at some point in my life, I would not have believed it, especially if you said toys, come on. Except look here it is happening. I still can't believe it, but yeah. Our workhorse machines are the LNS 150A and the LNS 300A. We can get into the specifics in a minute, but first, let's break down what is injection molding. These plastic beads get put into a hopper, melted down, and squeezed through a nozzle into a mold. On paper, benchtop injection molding is pretty simple. You've got a tube, and then you got some heating elements around it. Look what they look like right here. This is some spare ones I got. And then these connect to a regulator, which is important because you don't want to scorch the plastic. You want to keep it at that sweet spot temperature so it flows easy. Generally speaking, these electronic components are the cheaper aspect. It's the hardware and the physical build of a benchtop injection mold press that plays a major role in the longevity, usability, and also thus the price. Previously, we talked about the Buster Beagle unit, which I assembled and tested. For anyone on the fence about injection molding, not really sure if it's for you, this is a cheap way to try it out. It will require some bolting down, some reinforcement and insulation, but I think that's an understandable trade-off for the price. So the benefit at the time was that this would give us a larger shot size. So what is a shot size? Shot size is the amount of plastic that can inject with one pull or one cycle, one shot. When we first started using the 150A, I made this 1-inch cube to give me an idea how big I can make a figure, since it has a 1 cubic inch shot size. But that's just the volume, okay? You still want to maintain your thickness for injection molding. When things really streamlined was when we were sent the 300A by LNS. Because not only does it give us a 2-inch shot size, but was our first benchtop unit that you didn't have to pull. And I can hear you, Craftman, don't be a little weenie baby, sissy fat acting. You could put a hand to Craftman. Don't come here to me with that, make it sound like you can't handle it. Oh, look, all I'm saying is, go on ahead manually and inject you a couple thousand parts, and then we'll both sit down and we'll talk about it while massaging our abdomens, okay? I'm telling you. But the even bigger reason we like it is because it removed the guesswork. With manual machines, the pressure is you, basically. So once you get a shot to fill, you have to use that similar pressure, rate of pull, and hold down time. The hold down time is what allows the part to semi-cool, solidify under pressure, reducing sink marks, which is a big enemy to injection molding. Since the LNS 300A hooks up to an air compressor, you just dial the pressure in and it's, set. That's it, basically. One way or another, whether manual or pneumatically, you are melting plastic and squeezing it into a mold. And the mold will likely be your main puzzle piece, meaning it's either going to be the most expensive or the most tricky. These molds are for my figure called the Pocket Knot. I encourage you to check out my man John SL's channel. He made these molds for us, and if you're looking to do CNC mold making, this is a tremendous resource. John SL is to metal what Robert Talone is to silicone.
Oh yeah, here he comes. Oh yeah.
But listen, we did not start here, okay? You have to triple S the situation. Start somewhere small. For me, I started with resin casting. Why? Because I could justify $25 or $30 for some silicone. Resin casting is a fabulous introduction to the concept of mold making and parts duplication. I just want to throw that out there. But with injection molding, we're going to be using the durable plastic that you handle on a daily basis, like polypropylene, high density polyethylene, low density polyethylene, and thermoplastic elastomers. A big question with injection molding that I get: where do I even find plastic? If you have the means, it's very rewarding to recycle used plastic. Like these medicine bottles, for example, are suitable for benchtop injection molding. When we started out, we scrounged eBay to find plastic pellets. What this is usually left over from larger industrial batches, and it's way more affordable. It's about 10 pounds or something versus having to buy 1 ton for a custom order. A great way to test various plastics without spending a ton is to check out L&S website. It's worth it because you may, for example, find, LDPE may not be your thing. You may like a TPE. For our pocket knot body, we use the TPE thermoplastic elastomer. And for the pocket knot face, we use a PP polypropylene. And here's yet another option for you: perler beads. These are polyethylene and work well. I made these from perler beads. Now for the biggest question mark to all of this, the mold. Having a metal mold made is going to be probably the best long-term solution because CNC molds just keep right on working. But DIY molds can get you some spectacular results and a lot cheaper. Here's DIY molds I have used for injection molding. 3D printed inside of aluminum frames. Resin mixed with iron oxide, platinum cured silicone, tin cured silicone. I've even tried pewter, and the reason I don't fully recommend it is because it's a lowish temperature around 400-ish degrees. That's not ideal for injection molding. Now, if you do want to use melting metals, casting metals, check out Zamak. This is a popular mold material among small-scale factories in Mexico and elsewhere. Zamak is a zinc alloy that contains aluminum, magnesium, and copper. The best part, it doesn't start to melt until over 700 degrees. And if you want to get extra wild, check this out. Make you an injection mold from Lego and incorporate this little aluminum SPRU adapter. I'll have a link in the description to all these different mold frames and adapters where you can find them. Now, if you're like me, you're going to be tempted to go for this big boy right here and think, okay, this is going to work for everything I do from now on. But keep in mind, larger style boxes are fantastic, yes, but because of the surface area, you're going to need a big old clamp or just a bunch of clamps, all right? Because the next point of frustration is going to be flash. This mess right here. Plastic that squeezes out if you ain't clamped down good enough. Now, if you'll be making pocket size figures like me, you'll find a smaller mold is the way to go. It's easier to manage. You could just use one single clamp versus buku clamps, and that means a much higher cycle time. Now, I want to actually show you a DIY epoxy mold process, but it's around 9 minutes, 20 seconds into the video, so I want to take a break. Let's answer a question I get. Craftsman, what do you do with all of your builds? The answer used to be that, they get destroyed or given away or kind of disappear, but now my wife has started buying me these acrylic display cases. Really fabulous. Thank you, baby. She's been putting my builds in them. So now it's just a matter of I got to find where we want to put these, which we can do that later, but I just wanted to show you that. But this right here is how you can build a low-tech epoxy mold. First, epoxy clay likes to stick to everything, so it's important to use mold release. So let's say we want to make some new pocket knot heads. I would start with an existing part like this, the little tree sprue here, and then just sculpt my heads. Today I'm using green stuff because that's what I got, you know. Once we have our parts, we're going to grease the mold down real good so we can get the epoxy out later. Press in our first half of epoxy. Add our parts, making sure that they have good mold release all over them. We're going to let that side cure and then press in our second half of the mold. And pro tip, I like to press some clay right into the parts to capture detail. Now we close up the mold, and notice I drilled me a hole in the back for clay to escape. And we're going to clamp this thing like this clamping's going out of style. It can be tricky getting parts out of these type of rigid molds, especially if you have a lot of depth like me and you don't worry about draft angles. But next time I'm going to be using a lot more release agent. But even still, check this out. Not this one. Y'all check this out. It's getting a little better. Look at that one though. It's getting a little better. Eventually, you're going to start getting results. And if I took and polished the mold, this would be even better. Speaking of results, here's what I really want to inspire you with. Let's look at what others are doing in the DIY toy maker arena. This is KIERS Customs. We make smaller scale figures in fun colors, fun styles, and a lot of variety. Very much a 80s inspired throwback style. Wonderful. Mountain Town Toys makes polyethylene, polypropylene, and TPE figures for themselves and as a service to the Southeast toy making community. They produce hundreds of parts a day and are expanding with a third machine. Check out these cool spacecraft figures by Space Rock Toys. Wonderful textures to these. And look, they have a cool little jump play feature. Check that out. SPRU Toys is doing some interesting things. What you're looking at are test modes. This is from figuring out the process of converting SPRU plastic into figures. The goal is to produce his own really cool figure designs. Check out this character. Fabulous. Sweat Monster Shop is using 3D printed molds to turn wrestling characters into muscle style toys. Really charming little figures right here, y'all. Honestly, it's so stunning to see what people are doing with at-home injection molding. Thank y'all for sending me these examples. The channel has stagnated this past year. The numbers are way down, and many of the comments confirm something isn't quite right. I won't be talking about soft vinyl as much since it's more specialty interest, but real quick, just to let you know, I do have intentions to continue producing figures. I even have another mold being made right now. Really excited about this fig. But as far as videos, I'm going to go back to a more unpredictable format where you don't know what Craftsman is going to talk about. Let's follow that for a bit and see what happens. But talk about little dreams coming true. We got to produce our very first glowing figures, y'all. LNS was kind enough to hook us up with these glow-in-the-dark pellets to use on the LNS 300A, which is our workhorse machine. This is the machine that took our production to much higher levels than before. As of the release of this video, these glow-in-the-dark pocket knots are available at shop.craftnation.com. Link in the description. Thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you realize you can make your own toys at home. Huh? You can though. Until next time, I love y'all and keep on steady crafting.
Try. I see. Try again. I see. Now try. I see. Try again. Wonder.